Okay, let's run.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it.
It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you? I'm...
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show where we introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes that join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. We find out more about them by taking your questions. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and our guest on this episode is a man who is going to be decked out in a great-looking suit, velvet ropes, incredible red carpets, great awards show combined. Please welcome of the Bolden Awards, Deonte Bolden is in the building. Deonte, welcome to the program. How are you?
Hey, it's good to see you, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for being with us here, Deonte. Now, if you have any questions for the man, the myth, the legend, known as Deonte Bolden, please let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. We would love to hear from you. Also, if this is your first time here with us, welcome. And don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. With that, Deonte, what would you say were some of your favorite books or writers growing up?
Well, if you're talking about like childhood, I love Curious George, the Bernstein Bears, things like that. But Alice Walker was one of my favorite writers growing up as far as books. But yeah, I was just always into like the fairy tale imagination, those things. But I also kind of was into like a lot of the mystery, books as well. I guess you say mysterious guy. So those are kind of my favorite things growing up.
Oh, I got you. What would you say were some of your favorite movies or TV series growing up?
Okay, so one of my favorite TV series growing up, I'm a fan of and will watch it every time it comes on, is Full House. That's like one of my favorite shows of all time. Shows growing up, and movies, films, of course, Forrest Gump is one of my favorite movies of all time. That's one of my favorite. It's a long movie, but I'll sit there and watch it from the beginning to end. But those are kind of like my favorite classics that I enjoy.
Ooh, good picks. Just had a sidebar question, though. Have you seen the sequel series known as Fuller House?
I did. I gave it a couple of episodes, but I really wasn't into it as much as I was the original. For some reason, the stories didn't connect with me. And I tried to watch it on Netflix, but it didn't go well for me. So.
Okay, that's fair. Sometimes the reboot thing isn't really the best thing to do, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It just depends on who you ask, and also it's a case by case type of basis. So,
right.
Yeah, there you go. When did you start writing?
Well, I've always been a writer. Even when I was in high school, I found that I could write a paper in no time in English. But when it came to math and other courses, it really wasn't my thing. But I really started getting into script writing and expressing myself after the passing of my brother in 2006. It was kind of my coping mechanism. It was therapeutic for me. And I felt like it was like my escape because I, was grieving the loss of him. But I felt like I was able to really connect in a way and express myself, through art, and stories and things like that. So I really started professionally writing and getting into script writing in 2015. And that's when I started my production company.
Rock on, man. Rock on. What would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer?
I think the biggest rewards of being a writer is when people enjoy your work. I think that's definitely a great reward because it shows that part of yourself that you're giving and expressing to other people, they're able to accept and acknowledge it. But I also think the greatest reward of writing too is to be able to what I call the emotional dump. A lot of times writers, we have so much that we want to express, so many things that we want to let go. And part of that is just, I call it like the emotional dump, just being able to leave it on paper, and let it go and release it to the world, and express ourselves. It's like a voice for, the voiceless, and giving ourselves a voice and others who need it. So that's pretty much the reward for me, because when people look at your work and be like, wow, I can relate to that, you're giving other people a voice to be able to express themselves as well. So those are the biggest rewards.
Well said. Well said. On the opposite side of the fence, what are some of the biggest challenges about being a writer?
Sometimes, the fear of judgment, because sometimes when you do express yourself or write, there's a lot of people that want to take what you write and, give it their own narrative to it. Rejection, because, your writing, your creativity can be rejected. I call it, a writer's block sometimes. Sometimes it's so frustrating when you're trying to get a story or put it together and you're trying to write and create something, and it just seems like it's not coming together and the thought process is off. Because as writers, we're emotional people. So sometimes it's just, trying to figure out when is the right time to continue the writing process, as well. So those are some challenges that I have, as a writer, and just really finding your own voice. And that comes in the beginning process, because a lot of times you're always often compared to other writers, or you should write this, or you should put this in here. So really getting to know yourself is important, because the challenge you will face is trying to figure out, well, what kind of writer am I? And if you don't truly know yourself, that can be a challenge and stand in the way of the writing process.
Understandable. Understandable. What advice would you give to aspiring writers out there?
To just do it. I think we tend to often want to say, well, when is the right time, or I'm going to get to it, or what do I have to do to be a great writer? It's like, all you have to do is just write and allow the process to happen as you go. If you never put, the pen to paper or get behind the laptop and write anything, then you have nothing to work with. So I would just tell writers, and even writers that come to me that I help, just do it, because we can overthink and overanalyze things so many times that it's like you get to years of, saying, I'm going to write, and then it gets to the point where you just haven't written anything because you're just overthinking it. So just do it, trust yourself, and just do it.
So you're basically pulling a Nike and a Shia Boots. Just do it.
I always tell people, just like Nike, just do it, because there's so many people. I want to write a book. I want to write a play, and it's like they have so many excuses of why they can't do it, and it's like, well, you're never going to have it perfect, but if you're just writing, you get better within time. So.
There you go. There you go. Got to give it time. Got to give it time. Once again, we are talking with the founder of the Bolden Awards here on this episode of And I Quote, Deonte Bolden. If this is your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to like and share this with all of your closest friends. If you have any questions for him, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Be more than happy to take those from you respectively. So I want to bring something up here and share something with you here, Deonte. And for those of you listening on the audio feed, we're looking at the cover here for Differently Abled. Tell us how this all came about.
Yeah. So when we were shut down, a few years ago, when COVID had us all, figuring out what's going on, I was then, thinking about my brother a lot. And I always said I wanted to write a children's book, but the idea didn't just come to me. I was like, I don't want to just put anything out there. And I just remember a distinct conversation that my brother and I had one day. And, because he was disabled, my brother had muscular dystrophy, which is a disease that weakens the muscles and immune system. And my brother was often teased growing up, because it was easy for me to make friends, and for him it wasn't, because, kids were so mean, because my brother, before he was in a wheelchair, he had a funny walk because he pretty much was losing his mobility to walk. But the conversation stuck out to me for some reason. It was like, if I was only different and I wasn't in a wheelchair, life would just be greater. And that stuck with me in my head during COVID, because, things were just rattling around in this little head of mine. And I was like, what? It would be dope to just write a children's book that really could help children to understand what it's like to, be special needs and how to interact with other kids. Because when I was going to school, I didn't really find books like that could really help to explain it. And that's why we have so much bullying and so many kids being mean, because they truly don't understand. So this idea came to me, write a children's book. And I wrote about these 4 children, one inspired by my brother King. They all have different disabilities, and they're going to middle school, where it's the most difficult time for children because children are mean in middle school. Everybody's feeling themselves, and they want to be, find friends and fit in with their peers, but they find themselves the center and prank of everyone's jokes and laughter. And because of that, it's around Christmas time where most kids are asking for gifts and toys. But their desire is, Santa, make me normal for a day. Let me see life on the other side of this. And it's just a beautiful story of, acceptance and knowing that they're different because they truly make a difference. And life was more better for them, just being who they were instead of seeing life on the other side of being disabled.
Well done. Excellent stuff. Congratulations on that. That is amazing. Yeah. So just because someone has a disability doesn't mean they can't succeed.
Right.
So I would agree with that 100%. Also, something I'd like to share with you here. We're looking at the cover for Purpose Pains. What exactly is this? How did this all come about?
Yeah, that was my first book. I actually wrote that in 2019 after my first play, and many people see the success of what we, accomplish because, I'm in a situation, I'm a Christian, and God has been truly good to me, to be able to be blessed to do all the things that I'm doing. But I find that people don't understand the story behind the success and what really gets me motivated. And I've overcome depression, suicidal thoughts, and so many different things. And I want people to understand when they pick up this book that there is a purpose behind the pain. Everything that I experienced, I thought that in my life, everything was turned against me, losing a brother, dealing with my parents with a divorce, going through a lot of personal things for myself. But I found that through that all, that was part of the purpose, the part of the purpose that the pain that I experienced really helped to lead me to my purpose, which is to be, this visionary here. So this book is helping people to understand that, pain is not just a negative perspective, but there's positive, in that as well. And I really break down the acronym of pain so people can see it, not just from a negative perspective, but a positive perspective, and know that everything in life is meant to get us to where we are now, but you just have to trust the process.
Man, absolutely. I definitely agree with that. So have there been any special memories for you that stand out from going to conventions or other events, whether you were there as a vendor or there as an attendee?
Yes. So because I have differently able books, now I've been targeting and an advocate for children with disabilities, people with disabilities, period. But what really stuck out to me was actually going to a vendor's event here at a bookstore, and kids just being moved by the book, that pick it up because it's such a colorful book, and they would have those conversations. And one of the things that really stuck out to me too is that when we think about disabilities, we think about someone in a wheelchair, we think of something that we could see with the eye, but there's a lot of people that actually came up online that had disabilities that wasn't, visually seen with the eyes. Some of them were going through, some, mental things and such, and just seeing the smile on people's faces and just people being inspired and saying, thank you for thinking of me. Those things are priceless, because you don't realize that just because you're sitting in front of, the TV, what I do, and write and create something, that it really inspires people the way that it do. So that memory going to that event on last year was amazing. And it was a focus event that was here in Atlanta, which focuses on families with children with special needs. So that was amazing.
That is incredible. Thank you for sharing that with us. Do greatly appreciate it. 100%. Do not get me wrong. Now, I want to let you know that this episode of And I Quote and every episode of And I Quote is indeed powered by our good friends over there at Poddex. Now, Poddex are unique interview questions as well as episode starting prompts in the palm of your own hand. So whether you're a new podcaster or existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddex.com. Use that promo code Ryan10, that's RYAN10, Ryan10, for 10% off your first order. You're not going to want to miss out on that. Poddex wants to know, Deonte, what do you think is the most unpleasant sounding word?
Most unpleasant sounding word to me is can't. I do not like the word can't because I believe there is a will. If there's a will, there's a way. And I feel like can't just really limits my, accomplishments of, it feels like it's like a barrier stuck in front of you. And I just really hate that word can't, and I try to remove it from my vocabulary. I have another one too, try. I don't like that one either, because I feel like we're not trying to do anything, we are accomplishing. So those are my two, but definitely can't, because I just feel like there's nothing that should limit you from achieving anything that you want to achieve. So yeah, can't. I don't like that word.
Ah, there you go. There you go. You actually pulled a bit of a Yoda there at the end. I don't like the word try, because there's do or do not. There is no try. So there you go. Pulling a Yoda there for us, Deonte. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But with that being said, if you got stuck in what is known as an elevator and were forced to listen to only one song, what song would you pick?
One of my favorite songs of all time is Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. That's like one of my key favorite. I love Michael Jackson. So yeah, that song, every time it comes on, I just have to pause and meditate, because it's just such a beautiful song that he put together. So I would say, yeah, Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson.
Good choice. Good choice. One of the greatest musicians of all time. No question about it. So I will definitely give you that one. Me personally, if I were stuck in the elevator and I can only listen to one song, and hypothetically speaking, of course, it had to be a Michael Jackson song. I either go with Billie Jean or maybe Beat It.
Oh, yes. Billie Jean is my favorite one, yeah. I mean, he has so many classics. I mean, it's hard to choose, but that was one of my favorites. But yeah, I love Billie Jean as well. I could do that one in the elevator.
It's very smooth, that song. Just moves. It just moves, man. It just moves. But with that, music is the language of the soul, so it can be a beautiful thing. With that, what weird food combinations do you really enjoy?
Weird food combination.
Could be anything.
Okay, so I do like ranch on my pizza.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So people really look at me crazy. I actually did it yesterday when I was rehearsing at the Bolden Awards. And people were like, that is so gross. And I was like, are you serious? Like, ranch on pizza is like the best thing ever. Like, I don't get it. Like, but that's my weird food combination, I guess.
Oh my gosh. Ranch on pizza. I can't begin to imagine. I can't. Have you ever worn clothing with the labels or the tags still attached?
I haven't. That's like one of the first things I do when I purchase the clothes is like take the labels off and the tags and everything. So no, maybe when I was younger, but no, not in my adult years, I don't think.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Do you have any what are known as superstitions?
Okay. So yeah, I always have this thing. I don't like to split the wall. So if one person is walking on the other side of the wall or whatever, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to come around and follow you. That's one of my weird superstitions. So yes, that one.
Okay. Split the walls. Sounds like a horror film waiting to happen. Maybe somebody will put that one together. I don't know. Could be.
Like, yeah, I'm like, if I do it, something weird is going to happen today. So let's not even go through that. Let me just like follow you. So yeah, that one I still do. And I'm like, well, I turned 34 the other day and I'm still doing it. So yeah.
Hey, happy belated birthday. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Way to go, man. Way to go. So outside of the our friends over here at poddex.com, what are the Bolden Awards and how did that all come about?
Yeah, so the Bolden Awards actually came about me actually going to an award show, being a creative and experiencing award shows that I was just really not happy about the vibe and how everything was carried out and how people treated people. So I complained about it for a while, and then for some reason in my dream I came up with the Bolden Awards, and then it literally was where boldness meets greatness. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm doing an award show, I don't want to just do an ordinary award show. How can this award show stand out from the rest? And I thought about so many different people who I always was like, why isn't this person getting acknowledged for their greatness? But I realized sometimes it's this whole favoritism, nepotism thing that happens in the industry. And I said, well, I want to change that. We really need to get back to people sharing their stories of what they've overcome. So, of course, the Bolden Awards is where boldness meets greatness, but we're awarding and honoring those who've overcome obstacles and adversities while achieving excellence. Looking at those who've been overlooked. The importance of this award show is the fact that people, who never would have been looked at as getting an award, is receiving one. And it's bringing back the testimonies of people not being ashamed of their stories and what they've overcome, and utilizing that and making a platform of it. I think we have some amazing people, Emily, who's on her autism journey and achieving greatness, going to college, people who have survived cancer, people who have, survived, suicidal thoughts, people who are up in age and getting back into pursuing their dreams and goals. So we just have so many different people from different parts of the world and dynamics. And the fact that people are coming, like Jennifer, from all the way from Canada, and people coming from all over the coast of the United States, it just shows that it just really is something that's needed and resonates with so many different people. So, we say, we want to honor people for their bold moves, because so many people can sit back and allow their odds to define them, but they're out here defining, their odds and saying, what, I can overcome this, and so can you. So that is the Bolden Awards.
Boom, mic drop. Great way to explain that. Thank you very much for sharing that with us, I should say. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Deonte Bolden for being our guest on this episode of And I Quote. Deonte, thank you so much for being here. Do greatly appreciate it. Where can the person watching or listening to this follow you on social media and all the things you got coming up? What do you got?
Yeah, so Deonte Bolden Productions on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, but if you actually go to, I think the link is here, is www.deonteboldenproductions.com. It's links to all of my social media, where you can actually go on there and see me on Twitter, Deonte Bolden. I'm on Clubhouse as well. But yeah, just go to my website and you can get all the links to my social media where to follow me. And then there's also links where you can go to the Bolden Awards as well. If you're not able to be a part of this time, you could definitely be a part of the next one and follow us on that journey as we create the second Bolden Awards. So it's links to all my social media.
Thank you very much, Deonte, for sharing that with us. I will speak to you in just one moment. I want to say thank you for being here. My name is Ryan of Neuroculture. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5 for all our upcoming shows, upcoming events. We have a lot of great things coming your way very soon. Also, I want to let you know we are this close to hitting what is known as 1,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel. Once we do, we're going to throw a great big live stream celebration with returning guests, some surprise guests, and special giveaways for you, our incredible subscribers. So whether you are just joining us or if you've been with us since the very beginning, we greatly appreciate you liking, commenting, sharing our stuff, supporting us in what we do, because we have so much fun doing it. We do this because we love it. We do it because pop culture and supporting other indie creators of all shapes and sizes is what we love to do. And we're going to continue to do it until we can do it no longer. So with that being said, thank you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, smash that notification bell so you get notified when our new videos go up. And in the meantime, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe. Indie supports indie. And remember, life is better when reading. Take a look.
Famous Faces and Funnies in Melbourne, Florida is leading the way in pop culture fun. From comic books and graphic novels to Funko Pops and collector's items, Famous Faces and Funnies has it all. Rick Shea and the professional team at Famous Faces and Funnies are friendly and knowledgeable. Whether you're looking for toys, props, collector treasures, or a new comic book, Famous Faces and Funnies is your one-stop shop. To find Famous Faces and Funnies on Facebook and Twitter, just type at FFF Comics.
Sweet dreams they placed on me inside my mind. Chance my truth, twist the past, my memories are fading fast. Am I still miss them? Who do you want me to be? You
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now, it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasmafire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasmafire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
Good morning! Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.